I'm wondering how important is the desire for change and the fact that you're curious or interested, or dare I use the word passionate about the area that you're moving into as a vehicle for extra fuel, or I mean, I think we can all understand, like, if you have a bad habit and you want to break it, there's actually a positive on the other side, which is you want to be healthy, or you want to. So how important is passion for the subject? What role does that play in changing behavior and seeing behavior as the catalyst for changing your life?
Yeah, well, the short answer is it's very important. Let me kind of give a little bit of a longer answer in this way. So, in the book, I divide a habit into four different stages. And I think if you understand those four stages, you understand like what a habit is and how it works. But you also understand where you can intervene and like where you can make some changes to make a more practical change. So, real quick, just from a high level overview, those four stages are cue, craving, response, and reward. Cue, craving, response, reward. So, what you're talking about, having some kind of desire, that's what I would say is in that second stage. It's in that craving bucket. So, if we just have a couple examples, like the cue is something that gets your attention. So, you're driving down the road and you hear an ambulance, you hear the siren behind you. That's an auditory cue that starts the habit of pulling to the side of the road. Or you see a plate of cookies on the counter. That's a visual cue that starts the habit of eating a cookie. Okay. So the cue gets your attention. It's something you notice. But the next thing that happens is your brain makes an interpretation, it makes a prediction about what that cue means. So, if you see the plate of cookies, the next thing that might happen, and you may not do this consciously necessarily, but it's happening at some level, you're predicting, oh, those will be sweet, sugary, tasty, enjoyable. And it's actually that favorable prediction about what a cookie means that motivates you to take action, walk over, take a bite, and then you get that's the response, the third step, and then you get the reward. Oh, it is in fact sweet, sugary, enjoyable. Okay, let's rewind back to that second stage, to that point that you just mentioned. So we are all experiencing all types of stimuli and opportunities and experiences throughout life every day. And the person who sees something, who sees that cue, whether it's watching this video with you, or reading a book, or browsing social media and coming across the next tweet, those stimuli all have the potential to be cues that could prompt us to act in some way. But they only become that if you interpret it in a certain way, if you assign a certain meaning to it. And that's where I think what you're talking about with passion or curiosity or interest, motivation, that's where that comes into play. To one person, seeing a basketball on the ground is a cue that doesn't really mean anything. They just walk right by it. To someone who's passionate or curious about basketball, that same cue causes them to pick it up and start practicing dribbling or taking shots or whatever. And so the meaning that you assign to the experiences around you shapes the response that you take. So in that way, I think passion and curiosity play a big role. And I think, curiosity is one that I'm particularly interested in because from what I can tell, um, the person who improves in the end is almost always curious in the beginning. It's very hard to almost, there are all kinds of opportunities that surround us to improve each day. And largely, identifying them boils down to, are you curious enough to notice? Are you curious enough to investigate it? Are you curious enough to dig one layer deeper? And if you are, there's all kinds of chances for you to get something better out of the experiences that surround you.